I always get the same blowback. Oh, they're in the NBA. You're in your mother's basement with Cheeto crumbs on your shirt. So are these people who are defending their idols right in that what we are watching is actually just a ridiculous onslaught of modern NBA skill and we have no idea what we're talking about? Or are we...
All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. So I see a new Eric Smith sports training video came out, and I'm super excited because the topic is, well, it's basically what we've all been thinking about with the NBA since the beginning of this year. And I mean, to be fair, really before this year started, but this year especially, as everything has, well, scoring has gone up and the referees have gotten worse. We'll just put it that way for now. As far as no offensive fouls being called, no traveling being called, and basically offensive players getting away with absolutely anything they want out there, push-offs, whatever, lowering the shoulder, like getting away with all this stuff yet never getting a foul called. Way too much advantage to the offense. It definitely needs a rebalance. But here comes Eric Smith as well with a title in defense of defense. How to fix NBA defense. That's a tongue twister, Eric Smith. But here's the deal. Why am I reacting to all these videos lately? It's just to amplify the message, because it's hard to imagine all these basketball channels, all these outlets, we're all talking about the same thing. And it's hard to imagine that no one high up in the NBA is seeing even a single one of these videos. So I figured let's amplify the message, because it's obviously what we're all thinking about. Like, seriously, between like SCAP and Angry Old Hoops and Thinking Basketball and Johnny Arnett and you name it, like we're all talking about the same issue. So hopefully we can get a fix for it. Either way, it's good to see we're all kind of united on this, and this is a problem that we all agree on that needs to get corrected for the good of the game. Anyways, you guys, as I always do, I'm gonna link the original video from Eric down below in the description. What was I saying? Yeah, so that'll be in the description. I highly recommend this channel, you guys. Still a younger channel, and so far it's been nothing but bangers. So definitely check it out. Also, you'll see a list of channel members. Shout out channel members. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I say let's do this. Like the vid if you could. Hit that hype button if you could as well. And let's get on with it.
What's up, guys?
What up?
As we saw this past week with a 152-150 game between the Hawks and Bulls, defense in the NBA...
Hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off so early, Eric. Oh my God, no overtime? That was 48 minutes? 152-150? Oh, crap. I missed that one.
Particularly in the regular season, has fallen off a cliff. It has made the All-Star game unwatchable, and has even got me turning more to college basketball, where defense is played much harder.
Mm-hmm. A lot of my subscribers have been watching EuroLeague.
Every time I discuss top players like LeBron, Trae Young, and LaMelo making little effort on defense or just not knowing how to play it to an NBA standard, I always get the same blowback. Oh, they're in the NBA. You're in your mother's basement with Cheeto crumbs on your shirt. So are these people who are defending their idols right in that what we are watching is actually just a ridiculous onslaught of modern NBA skill and we have no idea what we're talking about? Or are we...
I'm curious if you've come to the same conclusion that I have, that it's on the referees and it's on Adam Silver. I wonder if you've gotten there. Like pure curiosity.
Being gaslit, and defense during the regular season has actually fallen off a cliff and made parts of the NBA unwatchable. I watched a clip recently from one of my favorite NBA personalities, a man who always played hard, played defense, and wore his heart and passion on his sleeve, Joakim Noah.
I loved
this clip was
Noah.
Extremely eye-opening to me, as Joakim and JJ Redick both told stories from their playing career, and it gave a great window into why defense has suffered. JJ first asked Joakim about the time his own teammates voted to suspend him for a game after the team already suspended him for getting into it with an assistant coach as a rookie on the Chicago Bulls. He talks about how Ben Wallace was the leader of the team and Ben essentially ran the culture and convinced the coaches to suspend him a second game.
Wow.
They informed Noah about it in front of the whole team at practice. Noah was of course pissed, but eventually had to accept it, and of course it got out to the news. The next night, they played Orlando and got blown out by almost 50. He walked in the locker room and was shocked to see the team laughing and joking like nothing had happened after the loss.
Ben Wallace in the huddle goes, you know, as players, we feel like one game wasn't enough. So you're not playing tonight again. And I'm looking at my teammates. I'm like looking around like, I could tell like some of these guys didn't even know. So we play Orlando, we get smoked by 50. And I remember, you know, guys were like clowning around in the locker room, like laughing. And I just like stood up to Body and I was like, yo, Body, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I was like, I'm the one getting suspended and you guys are over here fucking around and laughing and shit. And we just got smoked by 50.
That's crazy.
It was bad. So we had to get like broken up.
This story is a microcosm of what's going on with...
I had never heard this interview. This is cool.
Defense.
I didn't know Ben Wallace was a leader, a locker room leader either.
This is the first issue. Each team, starting from the owner on down, like everyone else in society, has become obsessed with the bottom line. The shareholders have all sorts of agendas if they're not in Los Angeles, Boston, or one of the other established elite teams. They're trying to get a new stadium, or move the team, or tank for a draft pick, or figure out if they want to hand out $400 million max contracts to players who are elite but show no winning intangibles.
Yeah.
The coaches know they'll get fired if they don't appease the star. The assistants know they'll be fired if they don't be yes men to the coach.
Yep.
Talking heads on ESPN don't watch the games. They just pour over the stat book and Twitter for 10 minutes before coming on the air.
Dude, you are dropping facts right now.
Reinforcing narratives to fans and in players' heads that if you dropped 25, you had a good game, regardless if you lost by 30. The narratives are so strong on it.
And you have the perfect thing on screen. This is, it's usually a LeBron James being propped up it drives me crazy. They don't watch the games. So you'll see 25, 7, and 8 or whatever. It sounds like a great stat line unless you watch the game. You know, there's a reason why they probably lost by 15 that game.
Wrong around every team, it's almost impossible for players and coaches to block it out and just focus on being competitive as hell, playing hard, and winning. And this isn't even going into the flack that the players put up with from fans about losing their stupid parlays. In the 90s, players who had big stats but were on perennially losing teams were given much less media attention. If Wilt and Bill Russell were putting up the same stats and winning resumes that they had back then today, the media would have been pumping up Wilt over Russell. But back in those days, everyone had Russell over Wilt because he was the consummate winner. But now we rank players like Trae Young and LaMelo Ball over guys like Drew Holiday, who in his prime impacted winning far more than either of those players.
Yeah, you remember a guy named Dominique Wilkins? It didn't get talked about nearly enough. Want to know why? Because he didn't win. You ever heard of a guy named Chris Anderson? The guy was lights out shoot. It was like Steph Curry before Steph Curry, kind of. Want to know why he didn't get talked about a lot? Because they weren't a good team.
The next generation is looking at that and thinking, why should I focus on being a defensive player and a winner? When comparing the notoriety Trae and LaMelo get compared to Drew. Yeah, it's true. The current NBA player, the popularity is not based on winning anymore. This is a very good assessment, Eric. Very, very good. It's very different landscape now. So it's more about your social media presence, and it's more about being in a lot of highlights, a lot of clips, anything that is shorts friendly, whatever platform you use, shorts, TikTok, whatever, anything friendly to that kind of capacity, you're going to do just fine in the NBA. Like, you're going to be very, very popular. So then you can get brand deals and your own brands. And I think that's a new game. That's why somebody like, Jean Morant, I look at him and I'm like, what the hell? You're wasting away your whole career. Like all this talent and you're wasting it away. Is he though? Or maybe he's playing a different game than what I would play. I would play to win. I would want to be a champion. But maybe his game is just get enough fame through viral moments in his life to be so popular that you could sell anything to anyone. Second thing that was eye-opening in this clip was the story from JJ Redick. He talked about how he had a similar run-in with an assistant coach on the Clippers discussing defensive strategy. JJ defended a screen a certain way, it didn't work. Obviously the coach felt that he would be blamed, so at the half he told JJ to defend it a different way, which also didn't work. Then in the film session after the game, he called JJ out for not doing it to the standard that the coach wanted, and they got into it.
And I've got to fight through that. And if early in the game, KCP hit like 2 pull-up jumpers because DJ's in drop coverage, right? And I'm like, I'm doing my job. I'm forcing a contested rear view contest too. So all of a sudden in the second half, Brendan O'Connor, our defensive guy that year, is like, I want you to chase over Tobias. I want you to chase over Andre Drummond. And then as soon as KCP starts going downhill, I want you to veer back. This is after he has the ball. Veer back to Tobias. All right. Tell me to do that, I'll do it. So now all of a sudden, I've got a 25-foot closeout to Tobias, right? So he, I think, drove by me one time. I think he got an open look. I don't know if he made a 3. They do it a couple times. And next day in film, Brendan's like, hey, you know, let's go over this play, right? And I'm just like, I don't understand this coverage. Like, I understand what a veer back is. What you're asking me to do is not a veer back. You're asking me to guard a guy up until basically the top of the key. And then once he passes, go and run and close out on another guy. Tobias Harris is a fucking good player. So we kind of start chatting. Voices are raised. And he says to me, do your fucking job, right? Do your fucking job.
Every time you hear JJ talk in an interview or podcast, he's always talking about actions and trying to sound intelligent with strategical terminology.
Yeah.
Every successful business person will tell you, micromanaging only works so well. You give people all the information you can, and then it's up to them to go out and read the game. Film study? Good. Starting a game with defensive strategy? Good. Discussing it and making adjustments at halftime? Very good. But micromanaging how each defensive possession should be played and turning the players into robots, that will never work long term.
Agreed. There has to be an element of jazz in a game of basketball. You have to be able to trust your players enough to make the right decisions. You just set up a system where they can be successful, you know, and correct a bad behavior. But outside of that, you got to let them fly.
Why micromanaging perfectionists like JJ Redick will always eventually lose in the playoffs to coaches like Phil Jackson that teach concepts and focus on player psychology. To build a championship level defense, players have to understand defensive concepts. In the NBA, you have to learn your opponent top to bottom, learn every tendency throughout the game, bait them, get in their head, build defensive connectivity with your teammates on help.
And the psychology of it is there's something to this as well. Because if you look at a great defensive team, and the 2004 Detroit Pistons always come to mind, or you can put any of the Bulls championship teams in there as well. These teams, the psychology on defense is you don't want to leave your teammate behind. You don't want to sabotage your teammate. You don't want to screw them over, put them in a bad position where they can't stop the offensive player. So there's a level of accountability. It's kind of like a battleground. You know what I mean? Like if you're at war, you know you have to do your job, or else the person standing next to you might not be there the next moment. You know, so same thing with defense and basketball. If you break your assignment, thinking about like modern day LeBron James, you know, somebody just blows right by him, you have now set up your teammate to be in a bad position. You know, that was supposed to be your assignment. Now they have to pick it up. So there's just a level of like brotherhood and accountability where you don't want to screw over your brother. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. Nowadays, I don't think that matters too much. I don't think they talk about it. I don't think they care that much.
There's too many damn robots out there defensively. You can see them all overthinking about what the coach just lectured them on, and unless they're a max player, they often get yanked after one mistake.
I know, and it's been driving me crazy this year to see how many points are scored on bad coverage, or actually not even bad coverage, confused coverage. And nine out of 10 times, what does it come down to? Was I supposed to switch, or was I supposed to go through the screen? And you see players looking at each other and yelling at each other after a wide open 3 gets hit because they were confused on what they were supposed to do in that scenario. I am becoming more and more of a big advocate of Man-to-man coverage, no switches. Old school. Because this didn't happen back then. Are you going to get beat sometimes on a screen? Absolutely. But shit happens. At least it won't be confused. You know what I mean? It won't be on accident. It'll be earned.
Kobe Bryant, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Michael Jordan were all great at this. They all had a ridiculous memory when it comes to studying and remembering each player's go-to moves, tendencies in big moments, and habits they formed. They learned to think this way from Phil Jackson. Don't memorize a script, go out and read the game and make adjustments as a player in the game. We've talked about the main issue with the X's and O's with defense in the league right now. But what about the most glaring issue that everyone sees? Effort. Without a doubt, the biggest two issues with defense in the NBA are when teams get into driving kick situation and transition defense. In driving kick situations where the initial kick creates an open shot, most NBA players are quick enough and long enough to sprint and do a flyby closeout. If they do that, yes, it prevents the first three, but it usually leads to a pump fake and drive or starts a swing around the perimeter. This leads to endless sprinting closeouts and rotations where you're essentially in a race to beat the shot clock. You're hoping that the shot clock will run out before you get too exhausted to sprint anymore. With how good everyone has become at shooting threes, I'll give NBA players a bit of a pass on this, but too many games we see almost no effort to even close out the first three attempt. At least go on a rotation or two and make the better shooter give it up to a worse shooter. The second issue is of course transition defense. As we've discussed several times in this channel, the easiest bad transition defense to point out is players like LeBron and James Harden, just not even getting back at all in transition. But the other more overlooked issue is strategy and fake effort in transition defense. As I discussed in my recent video about LeBron's basketball IQ, playing in the gaps as a defender to help and recover to your man is a simple but crucial skill in the NBA. Many times in transition, primarily on the secondary break, where almost everyone on the court is across half court but the ball handler is still sprinting up the court, players are often fake hustling, just jogging back and not sprinting back to set themselves up in the driving gaps to help and recover.
Good point. Yeah. They're not actually getting in a proper position. They're just jogging back on defense. And sometimes LeBron and James Harden don't even do that. They'll just trot, or sometimes they'll walk, and sometimes they won't even move. They'll stay under the opposing basket.
When you give literally any NBA player with any sort of decent handles a full head of steam from half court against even the best defender in the world, they will score those 9 times out of 10. These are the points that we see primarily given up in these 152 to 150 score games. The crazy part is,
I know, which is crazy because LeBron gets burned over and over again in these games, and he always has somebody backing him up.
Is often they're
but
on
when it's his turn to back him up, let's replay it.
Score those 9 times out of 10.
At this point, you already know the burn is coming. Step in here, because this is the type of defense they're playing. And I'm not a fan of this type of defense, but if we're going to do this, you step in here. Actually, you step in here. So you cut this path off. He's going to dribble in here. By that point, he's obviously going to notice wide open guy here. But at that point, Ayton would have been over here rotating to seal the gap. But that can't happen because LeBron flat-foots
These are the points that
he stays there. So now Ayton's going, well, wait. He was already preparing to go out here and close the gap because LeBron was supposed to be here. But since LeBron doesn't move, what's Ayton supposed to do? He looks dumb here. But this is actually not Ayton's fault.
Primarily
he's
given
like,
up.
what the hell? What was I supposed to do?
Up in these 152 to 150.
Well, if we didn't have these type of defensive schemes, Ayton would have just stayed with the double team the entire way. And that probably would not have been a 2-point play right there.
Score games. The crazy part is often they're on made baskets. You'll see the ball go through the net. They quickly throw it into their fastest player. They sprint up the court knowing they will probably catch 1 or 2 players jogging back and not in their help lanes. The Indiana Pacers last year ran this with Tyrese Halliburton with such success that they made it to the NBA Finals before he tragically tore his Achilles in Game 7.
Yep.
And last thing, I know a lot of you out there really want to bring back hand checking. Personally, yes, hand checking could help increase the intensity and competitiveness on the court, essentially putting the balance of power more towards strong brick walls like Lou Dort and taking it away from guys like Steph Curry and Trae Young, who early in their careers quite honestly might have been mere role players if 90s hand checking was allowed. It could help to bring it back, but honestly to me, transition defensive effort and lack of conceptual understanding from young players who have been turned into mere robots is more the issue to me than lack of hand checking. But if you're an advocate to bring that back, I have no issue with it. Go for it. So what can we do about it, guys? This is a channel of solutions. I made this channel to strive to make things better and make people think about what they're watching. Well, first off, send clips to your friends of great defense over plays like dunks and crossovers. Don't form your opinions of who's elite based on only offensive stats. Go watch the games and root for players that are playing with effort and winning intangibles.
Agreed. And don't just focus on blocks and steals. Like, if you send clips of people shutting down their opponent, like, that's the stuff we used to live for.
You see a player that actually goes up to contest a breakaway dunk and gets absolutely posterized. Don't do the stupid tap your head celebration. Give respect to the defender for having the guts to go up in the name of competitiveness.
Agreed. And I'm glad you showed Wemby. One thing I really love about Wemby, he reminds me of Alonzo Mourning. He does not care if he's going to get dunked on. If you get dunked on 1 out of 10 times and you're blocking the hell out of somebody 9 out of 10 times, forget about that one.
When training with your own kids, or if you're ever blessed enough to coach, teach the kids concepts and help them actually understand the psychology of defending. Don't just form up robots. Also, don't fall into that temptation if you're coaching young players to play 2-3 zone the whole game just because the other team can't shoot. Sure, kids should know how to play zone, but they will be lost like I was as a kid when you start playing against good players where man is by far the best defense and requires actual basketball IQ.
Agreed.
So, the old adage stated...
Yeah, I totally agree. Learn man-to-man first, but you also learn the zone. But learning to defend an area and learning to shut down a one man, completely different things.
Every sport. Does defense still win championships? The main identity and passion of the reigning champion and best team in the league right now is still defense. So yes, there's still hope for defense. But if we don't continue to speak up and pass it on to the next generation, we will continue to have more 152 to 150 games and more games like this. NBA players, if you're watching, there's still some of us out there that love good defense and we salute you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I put a lot of work into these videos.
Yeah, look at Dellavedova, by the way. How many screens did he just run through? He is not leaving his guy. No switch.
Support by joining as a member.
And it worked.
You can help choosing future topics. Or if you're not able to, just liking, commenting, hyping, and sharing the video with others really helps this channel grow so I can afford to put even more time into it. Thanks again, guys. Y'all are all legends. Much love and Merry Christmas. Peace.
Great video by Eric Smith. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said here, man. This is a widespread problem, and I just hope that this, if anything, like just 1 or 2 of these videos to get to the ears and eyes of somebody of significance in the league. Get this to freaking Adam Silver. Just get it to Adam Silver. We are your fans. We are your longtime fans. And we're actually kind of pleading with you a little bit here. This year, we're pleading with you a little. Please fix this problem. Please. We don't want to keep saying the NBA has become trash. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'd much rather talk about how great things are. I really would. But you got to fix these couple of problems. It's not the biggest deal in the world, man. It's not that hard. There's too much advantage to the offense. Balance it out a little bit by giving a little bit back to the defense. You don't have to give it all back. We don't need the 90s again. Would I like it? Yeah, but we don't need that. Let's start out with a little more balance. Okay? Just let the defender play by the rules. And if that happens, do not punish him with constant defensive fouls. Let them play through it. Okay? And when an offensive player is initiating contact, call him for the offensive foul. Fix the behavior. Fix the game. I'm out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your comments down below. Eric Smith, if you happen to see this, what's up, man? Hope your holidays were great. Keep the grind going. Love your videos. Everybody, please leave this video a like. I'd appreciate it. Hit that hype button if you want to amplify the message. Get this crap to Adam Silver. And subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, everybody. Most importantly, is to be water, my friends.